Well, I see that Trump is still trying to fish for his Reichstag fire moment, so he's deciding to deploy the, well, National Guard, which I guess is technically a part of the U.S. military, as Mr. Krasenstein, big old Brian Krasenstein, the arch liberal, who, I don't know, Elon Musk likes or some shit, can say, right? Like, to try to combat crime. Again, there is no reason to deploy the military to fight crime. We talked about this before, but the reason why Trump is doing this specifically in large cities, in Democrat run cities, is because what he's basically looking for, and I think that what he's fishing for here, is that he wants someone to basically like take a swing at like a National Guardsman, use that as like justification for further fucking crackdowns on civil liberties, free speech, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like you can, I don't know, like justify it in like 17 fucking different ways. He really wants, as I have been saying here, he wants his fucking Reichstag fire moment. And he's trying to basically be like, okay, so if I keep deploying the National Guard to Democrat cities, well, to try to fight crime, even though, like, in all of these fucking cities, they have been experiencing historic lows in crime. There is an increase in crime due to COVID because people were impoverished and are isolated, and so that has an effect on, say, their mental health, and the fact that they are unable to go outside and socialize with people also has an effect there. That's a fucking problem. And also the fact that people need to be able to work, to put food on the table, to be able to pay their fucking bills. So that is also a potential cause for fucking crime. But Trump is an idiot and just wants to have his little fucking Reichstag fire moment and be like a soy larping fucking dipshit and moron. But what do we have here?
And tonight, 1,700 National Guard troops are now set to mobilize across 19 states over the coming weeks. They are
Which is illegal, by the way. Like, he has no justification for doing any of this stuff.
going to help Homeland Security execute a sweeping federal crime and immigration crackdown that is underway now. The order is effective.
Yeah, because, again, he wants to fulfill his, like, fascistic, like, little Gestapo quotas to, I don't know, apprehend anyone with the name fucking Alejandro or Jose or some shit and just, like, throw them in a fucking hole and deport them to prison slave labor camps. Like, that's why he's doing this.
August through mid-November, Fox News is learning, and a U.S. defense official tells Jackie Heinrich and Liz Frieden the National Guard being mobilized will effectively serve as a support pillar.
Sure, man, totally, because they need, like, local law enforcement needs a fucking support pillar. But what do we got here? National Guard mobilization plans across all states. What we know. What's in this little video? That is not. Now we got some dudes in Humvees. Epic. Like, do people understand just how fucking insane this shit is? Again, like, you have to ask, what is the justification for any of this? To fight crime? All of the cities that he's going to deploy these National Guardsmen in are all experiencing record lows in fucking crime. Like, Chicago, like, because this is the main actual target of his ire, because he said, like, after we're done in DC, Los Angeles, DC, we're gonna also take a look at Chicago. There's been a lot of crime going on in Chicago. No evidence for this whatsoever, of course. And we're also gonna take a look at New York. No evidence again for that whatsoever. But he has like a stooge in Eric Adams at the time, so he probably knows he can more likely get away with this because he has like something hanging over the head of Eric Adams. But for Chicago, it's just gonna be Los Angeles all over again, where it's just like no one likes this. There's going to be protests on the street. People are going to be fucking pissed, being like, what the fuck is this? Why are you people here? Fuck off. And everyone's just going to get fucking mad about it. And also, DC, exact same fucking shit. Like, as LA. It's all the exact same fucking ruse. In reality, what Trump wants is he wants someone to take a swing or potentially even kill a National Guardsman in order to use that as his fucking Reichstag fire moment in order to justify the further deployment of the fucking military and further fucking crackdown on, well, basically any fucking political dissident. That's what the point. He's trying to use this as like an excuse to go ahead with the fucking dictatorship. That's why he's doing this. Man, look at these guys. Day in, day big trucks. Or APCs. Either or. Where is this exact? Is this like in DC? I have no idea. Because they're currently like patrolling about in DC. For whatever reason. Or is this Chicago? I have no idea. Again, I'm pretty sure people are going to be really happy with the fact that this is happening. We got some Gestapo freaks. Oh no, this is Okay, so if that's DEA, that is more... Okay, then more than likely this is in DC, because the current sort of head that's heading all of this is the DEA head. The fucking... Using head in the same sentence like 3 times there. So... He's just trying to basically, like I said before, what he's doing here is wholeheartedly illegal. He's not allowed to do any of this. The only reason why he's going ahead with this, like, well, to be quite honest, complete, utter fucking nonsense, is he wants his fucking Reichstag fire moment. Is this just gonna be more just, like, dipshits patrolling? Yeah, I think this is in DC, but, whatever. That doesn't matter anymore. Up to 1,700 National Guard troops reportedly soon to be deployed in 19 states, most of them led by Republicans, which is interesting. Hey, I thought, like, mostly the biggest perpetrators of crime were all the fucking Democrats. Why are you sending this to only Republican states? Are those the only governor? Well, he probably only knows that he can get away with it in Republican states specifically because the governors are going to be more sympathetic and probably not make as big of a stink in comparison to the Democratic governors, which are making a big, big fucking stink about it. Because, again, what he's doing is, well, it's illegal. Like, you can't do this. To help ICE with immigration enforcement. I mean, if we're talking about Republican towns, because, again, they're mostly, I think... If I were to make a bet, they're going to deploy them mostly in cities. I don't know why they would deploy them in mostly Republican states. More than likely, they're deploying them in cities, where they probably think that there is more illegal activity that's going on. It's a little strange that he's deploying them mostly in Republican states. My guess, again, and I think this is probably accurate to say, is he's trying to do this in Democratic cities specifically. That's my guess. Since President Trump returned to office, the administration focused on deporting migrants who are in the United States illegally. Well, he's mostly trying to get legal migrants at this point. Greater role of 1 million deportations a year. Troops are being deployed to Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wyoming. Fox News reported, citing in documents and unnamed Pentagon officials. White House official told Newsweek that it is not related to President Trump's crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. Keep in mind, 30-year low in crime in Washington, D.C., where almost 2,000 National Guard personnel have been stationed. The official pointed to the Pentagon's announcement in July that said some 1,700 members of the military had been brought under the command of the state governors to help the Trump administration with immigration enforcement. Again, they're more than likely just going to do occupations of the Democratic cities in those fucking states in order to try to go after what they perceive as legal or illegal migrants. More than likely, they're trying to just go after anyone who has brown skin and try to rile up people to try to go after the National Guardsmen to, again, justify a further fucking crackdown. This, again, just another attempt at getting his Reichstag fire moment. Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said on July 25th that the service status of 1,200 personnel who were already assisting ICE was changed from Title 10 to Title 32, meaning they are under state control, but their duty is federally funded and regulated. He said an additional 500 personnel had been authorized to help with the immigration effort. Through active planning and collaboration with our ICE partners, the department determined that specific operational needs may require direct interaction with individuals in ICE custody, leading to the reevaluation of duty status, Parnell said. He said their work supporting ICE would include case management, transportation, logistical support, and clerical support for the in and out processing of illegal aliens at ICE detention facilities. Oh, I'm sure that they are using this in support capacities. Again, in Los Angeles specifically, we saw instances of National Guardsmen and even the U.S. Marines doing arrests of people, which is illegal. The Insurrection Act was not called, so those guardsmen and Marines in LA are not allowed to do any arrests of civilians. That is outside of their fucking purview. Arkansas spokesperson for the Arkansas National Guard told Newsweek that it has not received any orders about troops assisting ICE. Well, that's interesting. Georgia for the spokesman for the Georgia National Guard told Newsweek, we're in the early stagings of staffing and the request for support from ICE. We do not have timelines or numbers yet. Very, very under wraps. Brian Kemp remains in active communication with the Trump administration on how best support their work securing our nation's border and safeguarding our citizens. I'm sure that, the Republican governors, like I said, they're just going to go along with any of this stuff, right? Jim Pillen, Nebraska governor, has ordered the Nebraska National Guard to provide administrative and logistical support to Nebraska-based ICE officials in enforcing immigration laws. According to a news release, about 20 National Guard soldiers will participate, it said. Nevada, small contingent of Nevada National Guardsmen and women have been authorized by Joe Lombardo. I know that Nevada is a bit more of a purple state. Is Joe Lombardo a Republican or a Democrat? I'm curious. 31st governor, is he Republican? Yes, he is a Republican. So again, he's just going along with this. Because again, Republican. He's doing this because he knows that Republican governors are not going to make as much of a stink about it. Spokesperson for the South Carolina National Guard told Newsweek that 40 Guard members have been requested to assist. Spokesperson have said, we anticipate service numbers to be placed under Title 32 orders before the end of the month. Locations not been established. Will remain on orders. South Dakota National Guard working with ICE. Larry Roden's office, who's definitely a fucking Republican. It's South fucking Dakota. Of course, we got Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott fully supports using every tool and strategy to aid in the Trump administration's deportation of legal migrants. Great, cool, fantastic. Of course, well, Greg Abbott loves deporting illegal migrants and treating them like absolute shit. Whoa, who would have thought? Yeah, crazy. Again, the reasoning why he's like deploying all the National Guardsmen in all of these states at this point is he wants the fucking Reichstag fire moment. He wants to have an excuse to be like, all right, you know what? Shutting down. We're gonna shut down democracy now because, well, fuck you. You killed one of our guardsmen, and we're just going to take over and say fuck you. And that's pretty much the point. So obviously Texas is supportive of this because they're demons. Utah Governor Spencer Cox has said the state is in active communication with the federal government about Utah National Guard troops aiding ICE. If it happens, it'll only be in a support role, he told reporters. Our National Guard will not be putting hands on people, will not be arresting people. Again, in LA, let's be honest here, National Guardsmen and Marines were arresting people, so it's just like, I don't know. Can't really fucking trust anything from the Trump administration, right? Can't trust them at all. And finally, Virginia confirmed to Newsweek to be approximately mobilizing 60 soldiers and airmen with a mission to provide administrative and logistical supports to ICE. Blah 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 blah. Cool, fantastic, great. But the main target of all this is, in reality, it's Chicago. Because he has said before in interviews that it's just like, well, once we're done with our work in D.C., we're going to take a look at Chicago. We're going to take a look at New York, see if we can do anything here. So, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be great, fantastic. And obviously, it's been a complete dupe. It's just been complete, utter nonsense. there was no reason for these National Guardsmen and also the Marines to be deployed in the instances they were. Like, for example, with LA specifically, the justification was because 5 fucking Waymo vehicles got turned over and fucking burnt. And the justification for the DC crackdown is because of, well, there's a lot of crime that's going on, folks. Even though there's just like, yeah, no, there's just no evidence at all to suggest that there is a huge spike in crime currently happening in DC. When in reality, what is happening in DC is a fucking 30-year low in crime. Because, again, Republicans don't understand material conditions, don't give a fuck about any of that stuff, and seemingly Trump just can't understand the fact that, well, there was a spike in crime due to the fact that there was, whoa, crazy COVID and stuff. And now it's being dealt with. Whoa, crazy. But what do you have here from the big man Pritzker himself?
I want to speak plainly about the moment that we are in, and the actual crisis, not the manufactured one, that we are facing in this city, and as a state, and as a country. If it sounds to you like I am alarmist, that is because I am bringing an alarm.
Alex. He is trying
one that
to
I hope every
people.
person listening will heed, both here in Illinois and across the country. Over the weekend, we learned from the media that Donald Trump has been planning for quite a while now to deploy armed...
Or honestly, I still think it's more accurate to say that this is the Reichstag fire moment that he's trying to get. He's fishing for the Reichstag fire moment. That's what he wants.
Military personnel to the streets of Chicago. This is exactly the type of overreach that our country's founders warned against, and it's the reason that they established a federal system with a separation of powers built on checks and balances.
Yep.
What President Trump is doing is unprecedented and unwarranted. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is un-American. No one from the White House or the executive branch has reached out to me or to the mayor. No one has reached out to our staffs. No effort has been made to coordinate or to ask for our assistance in identifying...
Pritzker, by the way, is 1,000% accurate here. What Trump is doing is illegal. You cannot just randomly federalize the National Guard and just deploy them all willy-nilly in states. You have to communicate with the governor saying that you're going to do that. And like I said before, all of these fucking Republican governors are going along with it because they're stooges to Trump. They are stooges of the fucking Republican Party. So if they can just kind of ignore the law and not give a fuck about any of that stuff, whatever. Who cares? Shebang, shebang, shabang. Bobbly, bobbly, boobly, bobbly. What's the law? The Constitution? Who gives a fuck about any of that stuff? We just want to go after them illegals. That's right, brother. We're going to go after them illegals. And it's just like, dog, your purpose is to help uphold the fucking law. I thought the Republican Party, again, I say this rather surreptitiously, I thought the Republican Party was the party of law and order. What happened? What happened? It's almost as if they never gave a fuck about any of that stuff to begin with.
Any actions that might be helpful to us. Local law enforcement has not been contacted. We have made no requests for federal intervention. None. Mm-hmm. We found out what Donald Trump was planning the same way that all of you did. We read a story in the Washington Post. If this was really about fighting crime and making the streets safe.
Again, crazy that you have to read a fucking goddamn news report to get any fucking notification. Again, like Pritzker is saying here, the federal government is supposed to communicate with state and local fucking governments that that they are going to go ahead with these fucking actions. What he is doing, again, is illegal.
What possible justification could the White House have for planning such an exceptional action without any conversations or consultations with the governor, the mayor, or the police? Let me answer that question. This is not about fighting crime. This is about Donald Trump searching for any justification to deploy the military in a blue city, in a blue state, to try and intimidate his political rivals. This is about the President of the United States and his...
That's also an accurate, I think, statement to say as well from J.P. Pritzker. Like, that's definitely a part of it, but he wants the fucking Reichstag fire. Again, like, because if someone kills a fucking National Guardsman out of, like, mistake or, well, from anger or whatever, the reason someone just fucking kills them, that's gonna be, that's the trigger right there. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's time to shut down democracy. We're gonna deploy the military. We're gonna have to crack down on all this lawlessness. And, well, that's gonna be the military dictatorship being established in the United States of America. Very, very cool.
Complicit lackey Stephen Miller, searching for ways to lay the groundwork to circumvent our democracy, militarize our cities, and end elections. There is no emergency in Chicago that calls for armed military intervention. There is no insurrection. There is no insurrection. Like every major American city in both blue and red states, we deal with crime in Chicago. Indeed, the violent crime rate is worse in red states and red cities. Here in Chicago, our civilian...
Great thing that he's bringing up this. Like, bringing this up right here. This is a very, very good thing. Again, small towns, way higher crime rate. Why? The poverty in small town fucking America is way fucking worse. And a lot of small town fucking America tends to be incredibly conservative and fucking Republican. Hey, what happened? Listen, I thought Republicans hated crime. Interesting.
Police force and elected leaders work every day to combat crime and to improve public safety. And it's working. Not one person here today will claim we have solved all crime in Chicago, nor can that be said of any major American metro area. But calling the military into a U.S. city to invade our streets and neighborhoods and disrupt the lives...
That's a really, really good point there, Alex. Yeah, it is a good thing that he's pointing this stuff. I understand the D.C. mayor was under more pressure, but she made it all about Trump's claims, not his power grab. Exactly. Because, again, in the case with Washington, D.C., it was all an authoritarian power grab. The point was the authoritarianism, not about the claims. The claims are complete fucking nonsense.
Of everyday people is an extraordinary action, and it should require extraordinary justification. Look around you right now. Does this look like an emergency? Look at this. Go talk to the people of Chicago who are enjoying a gorgeous afternoon in the city. Ask the families buying ice cream on the Riverwalk. Go see the students who are at the beach after school. Talk to the workers that I just met taking the water taxi to get here. Find a family who's enjoying today sitting on their front porch and ask if they want their neighborhoods turned into a war zone by a wannabe dictator. Ask if they'd like to pass through a checkpoint with unidentified officers in masks while taking their kids to school. Crime is a reality we all face in this country. Public safety has been among our highest priorities since taking office. We have hired more police and given them more funding. We banned assault weapons, ghost guns, bump stocks, and high-capacity magazines. We invested historic amounts into community violence intervention programs. We listened to our local communities, to the people who live and work in the places that are most affected by crime, and asked them what they needed to help make their neighborhoods safer. Those strategies have been working. Crime is dropping in Chicago. Murders are down 32% compared to last year and nearly cut in half since 2021. Shootings are down 37% since last year and 57% from 4 years ago. Robberies are down 34%.
Most guns in Illinois come from Indiana. That's so fucking funny. Right, that's that ghost gun stuff, basically, right? If I recall. Well, that and also like 3D printed guns as well. But that's great. That's cool. Fantastic. Whoa. A Republican state in terms of gun violence and crime because... not because of in terms of gun violence, the increase in gun violence and crime happened because of more laissez-faire gun regulation from a Republican state, so they just bring it in to the Democratic state. Oh, whoa, that does a better job in regulating it in comparison to those shithole Republican states. Oh, whoa, crazy! Who would have thought?
Year over year, burglaries down 21%, motor vehicle thefts down 26%. So in case there was any doubt as to the motivation behind Trump's military occupations, take note. 13 of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors. None of these cities is Chicago. 8 of the top 10 states with the highest homicide rates are led by Republicans. None of those states is Illinois. Memphis,
yeah, Republican shithole states. Fuck you, Williams, Mini.
Tennessee, Hattiesburg, Mississippi have higher crime rates than Chicago, and yet Donald Trump is sending troops here and not there. Ask yourself why. If Donald Trump was actually serious about fighting crime in cities like Chicago, he, along with his congressional Republicans, would not be cutting over $800 million in public safety and crime prevention grants nationally, including cutting $158 million in funding to Illinois for violence prevention programs that deploy trained outreach workers to de-escalate conflict on our streets. Cutting $71 million in law enforcement grants to Illinois, direct money for police departments through programs like Project Safe Neighborhoods, the state and local anti-terrorism training program.
Obviously, we can talk about, cringe, funding the police further and further and further. I do agree, it is fucking, it is cringe, right? I don't disagree with that. But, the thing is that, in reality, the only reason why we're talking about this is because of, the stupid, dumb fucking, authoritarian power grab that these dumbasses are trying to pull right now. I think there's probably more important things to sort of think about instead of just how cringe the fucking police are at the moment. Yeah, obviously police very, very cringe. We hate the police, folks, don't we? We don't like them. But I think it is significantly more important to focus on the fact that Trump is trying to go ahead with the authoritarian fucking power grab because of the fact that he wants his fucking Reichstag fire moment. That's the entire point of all this.
And the Rural Violent Crime Reduction Initiative, cutting $137 million in child protection measures in Illinois that protect our kids against abuse and neglect. Trump is defunding the police. To the members of the press who are assembled here today and listening across the country, I am asking for your courage to tell it like it is. This is not a time to pretend here that there are two sides to this story. This is not a time to fall back into the reflexive crouch that I so often see where the authoritarian creep by this administration is ignored in favor of some horse race piece on who will be helped politically by the president's actions. Donald Trump wants to use the military to occupy a U.S. city, punish his dissidents, and score political points. If this were happening in any other country, we would have no trouble calling it what it is, a dangerous power grab. Look at the people assembled before you today, behind me. This is a full cross-section of Chicago's leaders from the business world,
What's
the faith
up,
community,
possibly zero?
law enforcement, education, community organizations, and more. We sometimes disagree on how to effectively solve the many challenges that our state and our city face on a daily basis. But today we are standing here united, in public, in front of the cameras, unafraid to tell the president that his proposed actions will make our jobs harder and the lives of our residents worse. Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city? Instead, I say, Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
Do not come. Do not come.
You are neither wanted here nor
I'm
needed
gonna
here.
come.
Your remarks about this effort over the last several weeks have betrayed a continuing slip in your mental faculties and are not fit for the auspicious office that you occupy. Most alarming, you seem to lack any appropriate concern as our commander-in-chief for the members of the military that you would so callously deploy as pawns in your ever more alarming grabs.
Man, he's kind of going hard into the fucking paint right now, dude. Because I mean, there's really nothing else to say here besides like the only criticism so far is like, I don't know, cringe shit about the fucking police. But I mean, it's a Democratic fucking governor. Like, of course, like they're not gonna fucking bash the police. Like, I'm not expecting any of that shit. But like, again, just keep fucking shit talking the Republicans, because what they are doing is blatantly fucking illegal. Now, is this gonna have any effect? Maybe not. I mean, like, if Trump were to hypothetically deploy the National Guard within Chicago, it's just going to be the exact same thing as fucking LA. Like, the same thing's going to happen that has happened in LA, also in DC. He's just basically, like, duping and, I don't know, telling a bunch of rubes that there's all this fucking crime and illegal immigration, all this fucking bullshit, when in reality it's just like, no, it's bullshit. It's the fucking fascistic authoritarian thing for, like, goons like this to constantly speak out of fucking both sides of their mouth. Basically every single time. When a lot of the claims that they have, a lot of the things that they say are corroborated and supported by, like, zero fucking evidence. So to say that, like, oh, well, you know, there's, like, a huge, a bibbity-boppity, flibbity-flabbity thing that's going on in this Democrat-run city. Everything is so terrible. There's so much crime everywhere. It's just like, dog, do you have any evidence for any of your claims? No, I don't. So it's like, well, then why the fuck are you mentioning any of this stuff? It's complete fucking nonsense.
For power. As a governor, I've had to make the decision in the past to call up members of the National Guard into active service. And I think it's worth taking a moment to reflect on how seriously I take that responsibility, and on the many things that I consider before asking these brave men and women to leave their homes and their communities to serve in any capacity for us. As I've said many times in the past, members of the National Guard are not trained to serve as law enforcement. They are trained for the battlefield, and they're good at it. They're not trained to arrest people and read them their Miranda rights. They did not sign up for the National Guard to fight crime. And when we call them...
I'm sorry. Okay, listen. Point of contention here. Unfortunately, J.P. Pritzker, a lot of U.S. police officers are not very good at that either.
to service, we are reaching into local communities and taking people who have jobs and families away from their neighborhoods and the people who rely upon them. It is insulting to their integrity and to the extraordinary sacrifices that they make to serve in the Guard, to use them as a political prop, where they could be put in situations where they will be at odds with their local communities, the ones that they seek to serve. I know Donald Trump doesn't care about the well-being of the members of our military, but I do, and so do all the people standing here. So let me speak to all Illinoisans and to all Chicagoans right now. Hopefully the president will reconsider this dangerous and misguided encroachment upon our state and our city's sovereignty.
I have bad news for you. He's not fucking gonna reconsider it. He's probably still gonna try to go ahead with it. Because again, like, the point of this is that he's trying to get his fucking Reichstag fire moment. That's the thing. He wants the fucking Reichstag fire moment to justify a further fucking crackdown. He wants to do a military fucking occupation. That's what he wants to fucking do. That's the whole point of all this.
Hopefully rational voices, if there are any left inside the White House or the Pentagon, will prevail in the coming days. If not, we are going to face an unprecedented and difficult time ahead. But I know you, Chicago, and I know you are up to it. When you protest, do it peacefully. Be sure to continue Chicago's long tradition of nonviolent resistance. Remember that the members of the military and the National Guard who will be asked to walk these streets are, for the most part, here unwillingly. And remember that they can be court-martialed and their lives ruined if they resist deployment. Look to the members of the faith community standing behind me today for guidance on how to mobilize. To my fellow governors across the nation who would consider pulling your National Guard from their duties at home to come into my state against the wishes of its elected representatives and its people, you would be failing your constituents and your country. Cooperation and coordination between our states is vital to the fabric of our nation, and it benefits us all. Any action undercutting that and violating the sacred sovereignty of our state to cater to the ego of a dictator will be responded to. The state of Illinois is ready to stand against this military deployment.
That is an interesting fucking line right there, saying that, like, yeah, we will fucking take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, J.P. Pritzker, in terms of rhetoric, has been, I would say, quite good, right? Like, pointing out the extremely, like, fairly obvious. Like, I don't expect anything from the, like, national fucking Democrat. They're all completely fucking useless. Like, Some people in the House will call him a dictator. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are completely fucking useless. Like, nonsense. They're non-factors in any of this. Like, are they going to talk about any of this stuff? No. Like, I have way more fucking faith in fucking state Democrats at this point. Like, at least they're trying to do something to actively fucking resist. At least, I mean, maybe in like a liberal's fashion or whatever. But I mean, it's better than fucking nothing in comparison to what. Well, the Baileys are telling me that I shouldn't be resistant at all. So you know, I'm not going to resist.
And with every peaceful tool we have, we will see the Trump administration in court.
But yeah, basically him saying that the Baileys are aroused. Yeah, him saying that, like, listen, we're good. Like, if you are participating with this stuff, we're gonna know, and we're gonna keep that in mind. Doing a little bit of fucking spite posting there. Being a little spiteful.
We will use every lever at our disposal to protect the people of Illinois and their rights. Finally, to the Trump administration officials who are complicit in this scheme, to the public servants who have forsaken their oath to the Constitution to serve the petty whims of an arrogant little man, to any federal official who would come to Chicago and try to incite my people into violence as a pretext for something darker and more dangerous, we are watching, and we are taking names. This country has survived darker.
We are watching, and we are taking fucking names. Very, very, very fucking interesting that he's saying that specifically. That's now that is some doing the accusatory rhetorical thing here, because again, you should be watching and taking some names, making some notes, maybe preparing a few things for some lawyers to take a look at. It is interesting. It's interesting. I don't think I disagree with what you're saying there, Alex. I don't disagree with him saying about non-violent protests, but he needs to be saying what you're saying. He's trying to provoke violence. Exactly. Don't be violent, while I agree, is giving into the excuse Trump is going to use to do even more horrible things. Exactly. But I don't, like, I understand why he's saying that it's all about fucking non-violent protests. Because I think in the back of J.B. Pritzker's minds, and even Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, when they said protest non-violently, in the back of their minds, I think they probably know to a certain extent why he's trying to fucking do this, right? To try to find a fucking Reichstag fire moment. Now, I'm heavily fucking steelmanning the position here of the sort of like state Democratic and local Democratic fucking officials here, right? Like, I have no idea if that's what they're actually thinking, or if this is just like the standard sort of like liberal sort of like talking point or whatever. My assumption is the reason why they're saying that is I think they are potentially wary of the fact of what I am saying precisely, that Trump is trying to use this as a justification to further crack down and go further in with the attempt at building a fucking dictatorship, right? Like, because that's what I think it is in reality. Like, that's what he wants. He wants the dictatorship. He wants the military fucking crackdown on, like, civil liberties and everything. Because, again, he's a fucking tin pot little authoritarian fucking shithead. Like, the point is the authoritarianism with what he is doing specifically. Well, that's what he wants to do. But, you know, like, Republicans are never going to fucking admit to any of that shit. But, like, of course. But, like, to say that there should be non-violent fucking protests, a part of it is the reason why he's saying that is probably as a potential libel for himself in case the Trump administration goes after him in court, if it does escalate and become more violent. But if there is like because there will be, if the fucking Reichstag fire moment happens, and because everyone's gonna go to the fucking courts over this stuff, it's sort of be like, hey, you know, I'm going to basically just say, listen, we told people to non-violently protest, so it's just like, yeah, like, we told them to do that. There can be always one-off fucking persons. Like, that just fucking happens. That's just the nature of, like, the environment that we're in, of, like, a protest or a riot or whatever. Some people are going to get violent. There's nothing you can fucking do about that. But, again, it's probably to cover their own asses and make that fucking argument. Because, again, like, conservatives, when we're talking about conservatives here, they are very, very fucking dishonest when it comes to any of this stuff. Like, because they don't give a fuck about this. For them, it's all about the attempted fucking authoritarian power grab.
periods than the one that we're going through right now, and eventually the pendulum will swing back, maybe even next year. Donald Trump has already shown himself to have little regard for the many acolytes that he has encouraged to commit crimes on his behalf. You can delay justice for a time, but history shows you cannot prevent it from finding you eventually. If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me, not time or political circumstance, from making sure that you face justice under our constitutional rule of law. As Dr. King once said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Humbly, I would add, it doesn't bend on its own. History tells us we often have to apply force needed to make sure that the arc gets where it needs to go. This is...
I mean, you know, we're doing a little bit of harkening back and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, this is, like, pretty good. It should be... I do think, like, there could be, like, more aggression or whatever, but again, like, I'm not really, like, expecting 100%, like, everything. I mean, overall, in comparison... Yeah, like, JB has more of a fucking spine in comparison to everyone else. I know he's also trying to go after Boston. I know that, I think Boston was also mentioned as well in terms of, like, crackdowns. Let me double check. Boston, mayor crackdown, right? It's New York, Boston, yada yada yada, all that stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's fucking crazy. In Boston, so Boston has sanctuary city laws, and, well, this is fucking wild. Trump is deploying the fucking National Guard to occupy Boston as well, because I heard that they are basically openly fucking defying the sanctuary city laws, and the Boston PD is going along with ICE, also defying the fucking law. So, you know, again, like, with all these, like, stupid fascistic fucking pigs, as expected, like, they don't actually give a fuck about, like, upholding and maintaining the fucking law. Like, nobody gives a fuck about any of that stuff. It's complete, utter fucking nonsense, as fucking expected from these stupid fascist fucking dipshits. The point is the authoritarian power grab. That's why Trump and his fucking little goons and Gestapo and police departments are going along with any of this. They want to be the ones on top. They want to be the ones sort of like calling the shots, calling the fucking rules, blah, 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 blah. And the point of all of this is to try to fish for that Reichstag fire moment, for someone to kill a National Guardsman, for the Trump administration to further justify military fucking crackdown. That is why that he's fucking doing this stuff in a lot more fucking states. So far, he's not been successful, right? It's been like just a complete, utter shit show, nonsense, crapshoot, and shit show fest. But now he's gonna try to fish for more. He really wants to go ahead with the fucking military-style dictatorship. That's the point of all of this, right? That's why he's doing any of this fucking nonsense. Because in reality, Trump doesn't give a fuck about, like, the rule of law or any of that stuff. The Republicans have never given a fuck about any of this stuff. It is all about the power grab at the end of the day. So yeah, like, non-violently resist all of this, like, authoritarian fucking, well, shithole fucking nonsense that Trump and the Republican Party are trying to pull, all because he is just a little tin pot wannabe fucking dictator who basically just wants to claim more power for himself. That's the point of all this. Don't think there's much else to say besides that.